Right, so it's Boxing Gossip joining you live from my holiday. I had promised Mrs. Gossip that there'd be no videos at all this week, but I'm breaking my promise to do a special on the Tyson Fury Wladimir Klitschko press conference. With that in mind, I better keep it pretty brief or else I'll be getting a slap on the wrists. But just before I get into it, to let you know a few other things that I've got planned. I've already filmed episode 3 of 10-minute fighter reviews. That will be posted this weekend. Episode 3 is on Calzaghe. Episode 4 I'm working on now, going to post this weekend. That'll be on Floyd Mayweather, so do comment in the section below if you've got any suggestions for episodes 5, 6, etc. And we can maybe look at some of those. Now anyway, I've got a few things to discuss this weekend. I want to look at Bulioni Chudinov, I want to look at the Gale Butte, I want to look a little bit at Chilembralida Alvarez, because I think that's an interesting fight as well. But before we get there, let's comment on Tyson Fury, Wladimir Klitschko and the press conference that happened yesterday, which made for relatively spectacular viewing. Now look, I'm a big fan of the build-up to fights. I like getting into fights. I like it when there's a bit of bad blood. I like it when there's a bit of a WWE style build-up. I very much buy into that. I think it adds some value. It certainly adds to the entertainment factor. In this video, I'm not necessarily going to discuss Fury turning up in a Batman suit, you know, Fury fighting the Joker, etc. By now, you'll have already seen that on, you know, the live coverage, or you'll have heard other YouTubers talk about it. So I know I'm coming late to the party here. What I wanted to talk about is 3 other points that I noted down for this press conference. If you like a bit of an alternative view. Let me start by talking about John Fury. I find John Fury an interesting character. He seems like an interesting chap, and I've always enjoyed his interviews on IFL TV. But I wasn't 100% sure about his presence on the top table yesterday. I mean, the top table is usually reserved for the fighter, the promoter, the trainer, etc. Not necessarily the father of, you know, the guy who's competing. Now, Peter Fury is a very sort of quiet, respectful, calm influence. To me, John Fury appears to be the opposite. You know, he was actively engaging Wladimir Klitschko. He was getting into a bit of a slanging match with him. He was commenting on Wladimir Klitschko's haircut. He was telling Wladimir Klitschko off for talking about the wrong things when Wladimir started mentioning Michael Jordan. I mean, if anything, this guy kind of heated up the atmosphere. You know, he made it perhaps a more aggressive setting. And that's all well and good for comedic value at a press conference, and I get that. He's obviously a passionate guy, he's a passionate supporter of his son, and he's very keen for his son to do the business. Fair play, I get that. What I would say is, as a big Tyson Fury fan, I'll be nervous if we ever see John Fury in his corner during a fight. And I very much hope that they don't change the winning formula and introduce John Fury to the corner at the time Tyson Fury is stepping up to the world title level. You know, since since Tyson started working with Peter Fury, he's put on very, very refined, technical, defensively minded boxing performances. The one exception being the Steve Cunningham fight, where Peter wasn't actually in his corner, which says a lot. People buy into Tyson Fury as this big sort of warrior, this big brawler type, you know, because the way he talks up fights and the way he actually, you get that impression. But he's not. He's actually a very, very skilled technician in the ring, and he's a bit of a chess player. And I think that Peter Fury's calming influence in the corner really has brought out the best in him. So my first thing with John Fury at the top table and with John Fury getting involved in this slanging match, it's fine to be a passionate father, it's fine to support your son, it's fine to be screaming on as much as you can from the front row. But as I say, I'm nervous if John Fury is ever in the corner for Tyson Fury, and I hope they don't change the winning formula at this stage. Secondly, I've always thought of Tyson Fury, I've never known whether to sort of buy into him as a split personality kind of character. You know, one side of him being a bit of a joker, one side of him being a bit of a lunatic. Or if he's just a clever guy who knows how to hype fights, and you know, he knows what to say to get a laugh, etc., and to get hits on YouTube. having watched this press conference, I genuinely buy into the fact that maybe there is some sort of split personality type condition with him. You know, he comes out big joker, like, yeah, with the Batman suit, very light-hearted, bit of fun, etc. But then when you see him lose his mind at being called a clown and being restrained and genuinely like offering Wladimir Klitschko out there and then, part of me found that slightly uncomfortable viewing when he was screaming into the microphone, like, you know, really sort of screaming. Part of me sort of bought into the fact that this was the genuine article and he was showing a bit of a lunatic streak as part of him, you know, and that he would genuinely have it out bare knuckle with Wladimir Klitschko there. I think that's dangerous. I've watched videos that Dwyer has done previously where he's talked about boxing and mental health issues and boxing and self-control. And I think there is something to be said for that, you know. Tyson Fury, as I've said before, he's not a one-punch knockout artist. He's not a brawler. He is a technician. He is a chess player. And being able to keep your cool, especially when the going's tough, and especially against a guy like Klitschko, who'll be leaning, you know, he won't be the most sportsman-like guy in there. He's got to keep his cool, Tyson, and he's got to play to his strengths. And his strengths are the technical elements of his game, not in him losing his mind and becoming a brawler. So I think those two things stuck out to me from this press conference. You've got the influence of John Fury, and you've got Tyson seeming to genuinely lose his mind. Creates a tiny bit of uncertainty in myself as a big Tyson Fury fan. Finally, the other thing I wanted to say is Tyson Fury genuinely knows his boxing. And I think I've heard this before on IFL TV, you know, when Eddie Hearn's been talking about him and says that he's a big follower of the game. But Tyson Fury was making comments, you know, about Vlad fighting shorter men. I think there was one time where he said, you won't be able to hold me, like, you know, he's held Povetkin and, you know, that sort of guys. And that makes me think that he is actually thinking about this fight from a chess player perspective. You know, he's not necessarily thinking he's going to go out, bowl Wladimir Klitschko over, knock him out with a big right hand. He's kind of weighing up the dynamics of the fight. He's kind of seeing how the fight's going to break down and what advantages and disadvantages he'll be able to take away from Wladimir Klitschko. So, yeah, extremely entertaining press conference. Bizarre. You know, couldn't believe what I was watching. I guess the sort of things that stand out, firstly, is Tyson Fury has got the ability to think like a chess player and to play to his strengths and to talk about Wladimir not being able to hold him. But he's got to keep his cool in the fight, you know. Tyson Fury has a chance of winning this fight on points, and he's got to make sure that with his father's influence, you know, with his ability to lose his temper, with Tyson's ability to lose his temper, I mean, that nothing gets out of hand and he can stick to his game plan. That's my thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give us the thumbs up. I'm actually back home on Saturday, so you can expect some more stuff from me then. And as I say, I've got lots of plans for the oncoming weeks. Thanks for watching. Please do leave your comments below.